Well, good morning and welcome to Integrative Preparedness. How are you all today? We're going to talk about what I think is a very good possibility for a coming cyber virus pandemic. I would suggest you all get ready for it, prepare hard for it. We've heard smatterings of this, and we've been talking about grid down here lately. It is, you know, some will say it's a matter of when, not if. I truly believe that. You don't have to believe that, but you have to understand, and I'm sure you do, the dangers of it, the many different threats that are coming at us from all different directions, the threats against our grid. But I think probably, and something has recently come up that made me think that a potential cyber virus pandemic drill might be our biggest danger. Welcome to everybody. By the way, welcome to all the new people, both on the YouTube channel and on the Patreon channel. It's great to have you all wherever you are. And if you're not with us on the Patreon channel, I would really suggest you come over there. If you have a real interest in preparedness, we cover a lot here, but we have such a community on the Patreon channel. I put so much more over there that I don't put on the YouTube channel. And in addition to that, we have such a community of people with such a wide and deep knowledge base. You're going to learn so much from them, and hopefully you'll be a part of that and you will glean from it. What brings me to this point today, and I do seriously suggest you vigorously start preparing, if you're not already, for a potential cyber virus pandemic, is the recent meeting of the World Economic Forum. I saw Candace Owen did a video on this. I love Candace Owen. It's been in the last few days. I think I'll find it, and I will put hers right down below here, because I want to echo some of the points that she made, but I think she puts it so well. She is so well spoken that hearing it from her also will be very helpful to you. I'll put that underneath on the Patreon channel. I can't do that I don't do that. Links aren't allowed on YouTube channel. I mean, YouTube would allow them. I don't allow them on the YouTube channel. But I'll put a link when this video goes on the Patreon channel. I'll put the link to her video. It's off of Rumble. On right below that, so you all can watch her too. The situation is this, that the World Economic Union, Federal Economic, Forum. Yeah, a forum. They get together and they decide what's going to be the big next problem. Now, do they just foresee this because they're so brilliant? You be the judge, as Paul Harrell says. You be the judge. In 2019, they came up and said that there was going to be they projected a coronavirus pandemic. And look what happened. They have now projected a cyber virus pandemic. And that makes me think that we ought to prepare for that, right? Why? Here's what is contained in there, and I will also link. I took a few minutes and I looked up and I went to their website, the World Economic Forum. I wanted to see, exactly what they were saying about it, and so I will link that down there also, along with Candace Owens' video on the Patreon side, not the YouTube side. And they are they had their meeting, and they said that the greatest threat now is a cyber virus, and how these are constantly, as a result of AI, constantly mutating. Sound familiar? And that they, in order to protect against that, in order to stop it, and they're going to be doing a drill on this, okay? We know what that means, right? They're going to be doing a drill. Somebody said it was coming up in July. I forget if I heard that or read that. As to how to defeat this or how to deal with it. How to deal with it. Well, we saw the success of the last one. So their thought process in this is that the only way, when this cyber virus pandemic starts, the only way to stop it is to shut down the internet. Now, that would be bad enough, right? Because you can say, I mean, after all, if they shut down the internet, you wouldn't be able to watch my videos, right? We wouldn't be able to do anything, right? I mean, the Internet of Things that we live in the mesh of all stops. And modern life, as we have come to know it, pretty much stops. But how are they going to shut down the internet? Is there a switch somewhere in the internet office that they can go, boop, internet's off? No, there's not. So how do they do it? There's only one way to do it. That's to shut down the grid. If you'll notice, I put up, was it yesterday, I think? I forget. It was Memorial Day yesterday. So I did a few things. It's not my normal day. And I put something up about what's called black start of the grid. There was a reason that I put that up. Because if they shut down the grid, and they could, as opposed to just being able to shut down the internet, in order to shut down the internet, they have to shut down the grid. And they can do that under the auspices of, well, we're just running a drill. Have you ever seen a drill that went bad, that went wrong? I know many of your memories are clicking on some of the same things that mine are, right? That turned out not to be exactly what they were pitched to be. Well, think about this. If they shut down the grid, how long do they have to shut it down for? Even if they were doing a drill and they shut it down for just, I don't know, 10 seconds, saying to interrupt the development, this continuing development of this AI virus. Then you go to the black start of the grid. And there are people who know a lot more about this than I do. I am just regurgitating what I've read over the last few days, okay? So that doesn't mean I know it. It just means that I remember having read it for this short term. Okay, we have people on Patreon who actually know this and can extrapolate and expand on this. So make use of their knowledge. Make use of my warning and their knowledge. So things don't always go exactly as planned, right? They may not be able to get it back up. And I found a black start of the grid very interesting. But what if they decide, because we know what government's like, and we know we don't know exactly what a world government's like. We're afraid if we suspect what it's like. We know what. What if they say, you know what, this is a great opportunity to find out exactly how people would act with the grid down for a day, 2 days, a week, a month. What kind of mayhem do you think would develop in a month? Even a week? Nothing. We've talked about this. We know what would happen. If you've read my books, I cover it very well, right? You all read the Stonemont series? For anybody who's new here, the Stonemont series, the books that I wrote, it's all about a collapse of the grid worldwide. In this case, from a CME, which scientists tell us will happen. but the same things apply even if they're wanting to test a grid. It's the Stone Mount series, and I'll put in the commercial right here: the reversion, the revival, the renewal, and appeal to heaven, the blessings of freedom, and the hostages to fortune. They're available through Kindle or through Amazon in either paperback or Kindle, linked down below, or through our website, stonemount.us. You can order them right through there. What would happen? You know, people don't have, more than a few days of food. You know, most people don't have the ability to purify water. You know that most people live in cities or suburbs. I just did one over on Patreon about, why I suggest different places to live at different times. It's different before a collapse or after a collapse. This society would go nuts. We've had those long blackouts that we've seen in the Northeast. How many days were there? It wasn't a month. And you get it, this would be in warm weather. Cold weather would be a lot worse, but warm weather, violence increases. Anyway, that's the whole point of this. I will put those links when I put this one on Patreon. I'll put those links to Candace Owens, and then I'll put the link to the WEF's article on it. You'll want to read those. But the big thing here is that, is this warning? I take it seriously. If you depend on systems outside your own control for your survival, you'd better fix that problem, because it could be coming. It could be coming pretty soon if they're going to run a drill here pretty soon. And this is not, somebody said on one of our commenters, I think it was a Patreon, that the time between conspiracy theory and reality is like 6 months. Yeah, that's the truth. And even if, well, I don't even have to go there. I don't have to talk about it any further. I think I'll save this for another video. But you know that even if this is a drill, well, especially if this is a drill, that there are people that say, what more can we find out? How far can we push this? Let's see. And if we're talking about, as we have the last few videos about depopulation, well, the EMP Commission, they guesstimated, they projected a 90% die-off in the affected areas in the first 12 months. I'll tell you what, most of that's going to happen in the first month, I'll guarantee you. Or the first 2 months anyway. And if depopulation is a purpose, as this comes out of the WEF, why turn things back on? Why? If they want, this is better, if you think about it, than an EMP or a CME from their standpoint. If they want infrastructure left, so that when they start it back up again, infrastructure is still here, but the people are gone. This is the perfect solution from their standpoint. Turn it off. A year later, turn it back on. Get all their new slaves to bury the bodies of their old slaves. What do you think? Okay. Every one of these things that comes down the road needs to spur us to greater, harder work in our preparedness efforts. I hope that you're doing that. I hope that you're on that road. If you aren't, please get on it. If you are, double your efforts, because I don't know that there's any such thing as being too prepared. And if you want, again, the complete plan of how to prepare for, how to survive, how to rebuild afterwards, after a CME, after an EMP, or after their little drill, right here, the Stone Mount series, If you haven't read it, you need to. Like I say, I'll put the links down below. It's on Amazon. You can get them Kindle or paperback, or you can get them directly through us, through me, stonemont.us. That link is also down below. You can get them autographed from me down below. Check us out. Check that out. Come over if you're not with us on Patreon. You'll be glad you did. That link is also down below. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And in the light of this, I would suggest that the next month or so, you just ramp up those preparedness efforts. Think about it. Use this as a drill yourself. If they run a drill, and if it's, you know, if it goes bad or if it goes the way they want to, however that may be, what do you need to do between now and whenever they want to do it to put yourself in the very best position, you and your family? So, and if you want to think about, you know, where are the best places to live after a collapse, and you're not with us on Patreon, that's another thing that I just put one up over on Patreon about that. So you all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.